afternoon. This nice day. Okay. What I wanted to really talk to you guys about today. Well, what I want to relate to you guys is, even if you've been down and out, whether you've been doing drugs, whether you've been in prison, whether you're homeless, or whatever, never let anyone tell you that you can't do a thing. Let me tell you something. I'm a true believer of that. No, I'm a true knower of that, because I've been through that. Listen, I did 18 years in prison, right? Okay, doing what I'm doing, I was driving, a driver. Okay. Long story short, I got railroaded myself. I didn't have any. I had a state attorney and whatever, and just got blew over and got 20 to 40 years in prison. Okay, so I get out, and I'm gonna tell you about the process that I went through to get to where I'm at now and coming out. But my mindset was, ain't nothing gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me. Like I told you, I was that little speed road runner. How that them legs were moving real fast in a circle. You can't even see the road runner leg. That's how when you put me out into society and drop me in there, I was gone. That's a good thing, and it could be a bad thing. But so when I first came home, I had a $500 double E bond that it took me a whole year to save. I didn't buy anything. What we used to call zooms and whams. I never bought anything. I bought books. I read and read. That kept my mind off food. They feed you, man. What the hell you gonna be buying all this sweet, salty crap anyway? It ain't nothing but chemicals and flavored grease that you're buying anyway. So what I did is took that double E bond, cashed it in, and remember, I don't know if you guys remember when I said what do you do? Get a job, or do you go and get some education? Like I said, it depends on your status, your position when you come home. If you have in a position where you can start your own business, start your own business. If you're in a position where you need to get you some money and get your money right with a job, then you do that. Okay, so what happened with me is I was blessed. I was given a car, a whole 4-wheel car. I said, what? It's by one of my mother's old friends. It was a 1991 town car, Lincoln town car. I'll never forget that car, man. That changed my whole life. So in that light, my position was to get a job, because now I have transportation. I was paying like half of my check when I first got a little crummy job to get me taken out, because all the jobs were far out, little mediocre jobs. But so I had this job. I was driving to work. It was from a temp place, and oh my God, they put me in a recycling facility where we recycled plastics, glass, and paper. And they had these it's a huge place. They had these huge conveyors that would convey all of the trash into their separate, containers, the paper, the glass, and whatnot. And on these conveyors, they would literally drop all goddamn day. And what was my job? To sweep the shit to sweep it up. I had to sweep it up. And it's like, you know how you sweep your kitchen or something and you're done, you throw it in trash and that's it? This is all day. It never ended. It was like hell. I was like, oh my God, I just swept that 5 minutes ago. And I'm just circling around, sweeping. And then the hardest one was the glass, because these would fall into these big, huge truck bins. And they were overflowed. Nobody, until they change them out, then you're good for a minute. But these things will overflow and fall on the side. You got to take that glass and huge, all over your head into the thing. And this was killing me. It was I hurt my shoulder. Oh man, it was, and in the place, it was either sizzling hot or it was freezing cold, one or the other. It wasn't no comfort. And you constantly, in these foremans are constantly on you. So here's the short thing. There's a guy that I was working with, we were like partners, and he was doing the same thing I was. I told him one day, I said, man, I do leather work, man. I do other things. I need to get out of here and go do my thing. He said, yeah, okay, blah, blah. So we talked about it for about a week. And that next week, I told him, man, I'm about to quit. You know what? I'm about to go throw papers. I'm going to throw papers. You know how motor route, you throw papers, like, what, 3,000, I don't remember how much it was, 1,500, whatever. Worked from 3 o'clock to like 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, I did that. I was planning to do that. And I was going to go to school in the daytime. Do that in the morning and do that in the daytime. So I can get me some skills. I ain't have any paper skills. I have skills. I have some skills. But it's all up here. It wasn't nothing on paper. So I know I needed some paperwork to get into the door that I needed to get into. So I went ahead and did that process. And before I did that, I told the guy, I said, look, man, you need to come with me, man. And we can work some things. It was kind of tight. And he had, dreams and things, and he was going through problems with his girl and everything. But long story short, he started sucking on that proverbial titty. And you can't do that, man. You gotta let that thing go. So, yeah, I quit. I quit. That next day, I came in, I said, man, I'm done. He's like, huh? Because I was, the decent work. I showed up on time. I didn't like that job. That's the first job I ever quit, man. I couldn't handle that. Oh, my God. And I quit, right? Here's the thing. I quit, and I went to search where they, I didn't know where to go to get the paper delivery job. And the place that I went to, it was closed down. Like, oh, my God, what the hell did I do? You know what I did the next day? I called the people back. I said, man, can you give me my job back? Man, I made a mistake. It's like, oh, well, we hadn't already filled that position. I was like, oh, my God. I said, man, can you put me back on the list or something? And the dude said, well, yeah, we'll put you on there. He never called back. So, but the next day, you know how I am. I kept moving and pushing, and I found the place. I found the real, they had moved to another location. And I found it. And in my first day, I was late. I'm never late. Like, everything is going wrong for me. And dude's like, man, we can't use you. We can't use nobody that's being late. Of course, I would say the same thing. I said, man, listen. And this was the second, the right hand man, or the lower tier guy. He was like one of the managers in there. But the big honcho was telling them messages, and he was coming out to me. I was like, man, where he at? I went into his office. Boom. Hey, look, man. This ain't me, man. I am always on time. I'm always blah, blah. He looked at me. He said, okay, go ahead. Boom, we got the job. So I got the job. I'm making a killing. I'm doing it. Going to school, driving, rolling off the road. Man, my whole day was so full, man. But I knew I had to do that in order to get to where I needed to go. And guess what? On my journey, I had so much negativity. I even, see the school that I went to, it was Focus Hope. It was very, very strict and very thorough on what they want you to do. They send you through this whole course of, it's like a course throughout a whole month. You go into all these different offices and state places, registrations, piss tests, and everything. My car broke down. I had to walk the rest of the way to these places, and it was really deep. But along that journey, in that process, I had all negative. It was guys in there. Oh, you for the Focus Hope program? I said, oh, man. He said, man, that thing don't work, man. That's exactly what he told me. He said, man, I done been through that whole thing. They ain't find me nothing. I said, whoa. And it shook me for a minute. But guess what? I told myself, show me. I said it to myself, and show me. That's my whole thing. When you get negativity and people tell you you can't do this, and show me. Do it anyway and prove it to yourself. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't do it. Try it. Just try it. But long story short, it worked out. I finished at the top of my class, got a job, and I was in the door. I stayed there for 7 years. But during that 7 years, I was building up my business at the same time. And eventually, I quit. That's Jeffrey on Fresh Prince. He thought he had won that lottery. Remember that episode? I quit. But anyway, that's just something that I wanted to get to you guys. You know, wow, the process is very interesting when you actually go through it yourself, rather than reading about it or someone telling you about it. When you do it yourself, it's a good feeling, man. When you actually do it and accomplish it, man. I mean, you gotta try it. Try everything. Try it. Don't just sit back thinking about it. Thinking about it is one thing, but actually getting out there and doing it, and doing it. Don't just try it and say, oh, it didn't work. I mean, when I say try it, I mean you go through the whole process of keep doing and going until it says no, and you good. I mean, try it. But don't just try and just give up and say it didn't work. You gotta keep going at it. So that's what I wanted to tell you, that relay that to you guys, and keep going, man. Keep going. I'm going here to get me a few apples. I'm here at Myers, and some pistachios. I was allergic to this stuff, but I started taking the Zantex, and Zantex works great. Okay, guys, take it easy. Like, share on my channel, and you know, give me some feedback on what you think about the process that I'm going through and the message that I'm relaying to you guys, and I'm interested in knowing. All right, guys.